So out of the box or out of the wall, whatever you want to call it, we have Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters in 3D. So you know what we're doing? We're getting on these 3D glasses to watch Percy Jackson in 3D. They really need to bring back 3D TVs. I mean, come on. Please, please. Yes, I still own a 3D TV, but I'm just so nervous that it's going to die one of these days. Anyway, Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. What's this about? I want to say this is a couple years after the first movie, and now Percy Jackson realizes he has a brother, but he's half Cyclops. And now they need to go somewhere else because the border of where they're like training is now slowly dying, and we need to figure out how to revive that tree. So, do I like this film? It was okay. You could tell between this one and the first one, this one was a lot more of a CGI fest. And I think that takes you out of the film because that's what Chris Columbus does really good with his kids' movies. He makes sure it looks real. It's not a lot of CGI. But this one, it did have a lot of CGI and it did take me out of the picture in some scenes. But you're here for the 3D review. Let's talk about 3D. I just know for a fact 3D at home is better at 3D in the theaters. And with this movie, it works. And it works because it was kind of made for 3D, if you know what I mean. We're at that phase when this came out where 3D was a huge thing, where every other movie was post-production 3D, or they knew they were going to make this movie into a 3D movie, and they did it with this one as well. There's good pop-out scenes, especially when they're on the water, especially when they're in battle sequences. You could tell that the 3D was meant to be in this film. Is it really like, oh my god, the 3D is freaking everywhere? No, but I'm going to compare this to the Third Chronicles of Narnia because that one's 3D as well. And the same thing, that one had good water effects for 3D. Same with this one. So overall, I think the 3D was fine. Nothing like, oh my god, fantastic. To me, the top tier 3D movies when it comes to being filmed that way, if I'm looking at cartoon and live action, you could say Avatar for live action, but I'm also putting in Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon, and then Legends of the Guardian, the Zack Snyder Owl movie, is the best 3D cartoon movie I've seen. And so, but Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters is not a worthless 3D movie overall. But the movie itself, it is a complete downgrade from the first one in almost every single aspect, in my opinion. The action is fine. The overall adventure they're doing is fine. The overall set pieces, they're fine. The acting, it feels like they took the A-list cast and they realized, okay, there's no way we're going to get the same amount of people for this one, so we're going to downgrade. And so they downgraded everyone with Stanley Tucci. That's what they really did. They said they took everyone and Stanley Tucci, you are coming in this movie and you're going to be every single A-list cast that we couldn't get anymore for the second movie. And that's fine. Like I said, it just felt cheaper on that level because when we were going to these different... Oh, yeah. Also, Nathan Fillion is also in this movie. So, Stanley Tucci and Nathan Fillion, you're the A-listers for this movie. It just feels like this one, it is a carbon copy of the first one with going to point A to point B to point C. And they thought, you know what? We're going to do that for the first one, so we're going to continue with the second one. However, when you continue with the second one, it almost feels empty because of the mission they're doing. Because of when we go to these different set pieces, it's not that exciting because it's just it didn't have the heart of the first one. And I think that's what the message is we are on the adventure with these kids, but however, the overall mission, you don't feel the impact. With the first one, you feel the impact of his mom is in hell, so he really needs to go to hell to save his mom. Here, yes, the border is missing, but you don't see any of the after action effects of the border missing. Like, who is actually attacking this camp now? Yes, you saw who it was in the beginning, but if this Luke character really wants to bring back his grandfather, you would expect to see some people go down hardcore in this camp, but you don't. Also, like I said, it's silly, very more CGI fest. And when you watch these movies like back to back, it almost felt like, Chronicles of Narnia 1, 2, and 3. This is the best way to say it. 1 and 2 was more a methodical, like, open world adventure, while the third one went more CGI. Same thing with Percy Jackson. The first one felt more open world, felt more I could go to these environments. The second one for this adventure, not so much. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the acting, nothing wrong with the overall experience, but when you're comparing this to the first one, it truly is a downgrade. But overall, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters in 3D, actually, how many Sea of Monsters were there in this movie? There's the one that they rode, the Cyclops, his brother, the one they got eaten. But then you fight. Actually, there's not a lot of Sea of Monsters in this movie. I don't know if that's the right title then, overall. Overall, I think kids should enjoy this movie. It's fast-paced as well, but don't expect the funness of the first one in the 3D. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not like, oh, you need to watch this right now. So Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters in 3D will receive a 2.5 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 50%. So let's see the critics' news scores gave this one. So you have critics a 42% with 118 of them, audience score of 54% with over 100,000. Here's critic consensus. It's pretty packed with action. Unfortunately, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters is also waterlogged with characters and plot that can't help but feel derivative. Absolutely. Like I said, this is a significant downgrade of the first one, but kids should still enjoy it. It felt disjointed overall. 50, 42, 54. Chase out with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Booftopia. You Booftons, take watch a great day now. I don't care for watching today, tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. I love every single freaking one of you. My voice is leaving. I don't know what's happening.